All right, so let's talk about GEO Jobe. We've been in business for 27 years now. We've been an Esri business partner for 25 of those years, and we serve over 12,000 organizations globally, 52% in the US, 48% internationally. How many people here are already a GEO Jobe customer? They give you time and money, they force multiply, they enforce enterprise IT concepts, and they give insights into your ArcGIS. That is a lot of buzzwords. So let's talk about what it really does. If you want to be able to view all of the item dependencies and relationships across your whole organization, we can do that. If you need to be able to back up your content because it's valuable to you and you spent time building that and you spent time putting your heart and soul into that, and then, maybe someone accidentally deletes the wrong layer, we protect you from that. If you're in an agentic world and someone goes and releases an AI agent of some type that happens to make a negative change to one of your organizational layers you've worked with, well, not only do we do backup.org, our backup.org has an MCP built onto it, so you can tell a guardrail like, hey, why don't you go ahead before you do any destructive actions, go ahead and back up my information. So that's a pretty cool evolution we have of some of our products. Oh yeah, have you taken a look at your data store and seen if you have any bloat taking place? We have the ability to do lossless compression in place, keeping it where it is and using mathematical lossless compression, which seems like magic, but if any of us work in the raster world, and a few of us know some stuff about rasters here, I think, this color is the same color as that color is the same color, so you can mathematically represent the pixels as how many of the same value for RGB and alpha are the same in a row, and then mathematically represent that instead of storing it raw for what the value is each time, which is the default way that it's stored. So we allow lossless compression inside the data store, which is pretty awesome. Access control, we can tell you who has or has not logged into your organization a certain amount of time. We can tell you what items aren't being used. We can tell you what items have stuff that's broken in it. Here's the great thing, I'm gonna preview something ahead of time, everybody. Every product I'm gonna talk about, if you're buying a single connector, only costs $100 a month. Come on, that's good pricing. It's like everyone out there is trying to gouge someone for a price. I try to make my stuff reasonable, right? I don't scale it by your number of users or how much you're using or anything like that. It's pretty easy. You're using one of our products, one of your environment, we protect that environment, we make it work. I hope that sounds relevant to you, particularly the ability to schedule and make on-demand backups of that content that matters to you. I hope that some of these, and also some of these tools are free. You can literally just go to our website, go to geo-jobe.com, go to products, go down to free tools, and you'll see a whole bunch of free tools. It's a great model because we have 70 plus tools and admin tools, and you know what? Over 40 of those are free. So go in there, give it a try, kick the tires, mess around with that product, see if you like it, and then maybe you'll go over and use backup.org, clean.org, Symphony, some of the others. Admin tools for ArcGIS. A lot of people know this product. So it's over 100 tools. I think I said over 60 earlier or something. Once again, CEO, not very well informed. Everything keeps growing, everything keeps changing. 100 plus different tools inside of there. We have workflows that can do one-click deployments of model organizations. We can visualize item dependencies, how they relate in your organization in 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions, or virtual reality. And I'll show you all that. We can manage your users, groups, your items. Some of the cool things about items is we can find and replace an entire item URL for a feature layer across your whole organization. You can say, find and replace everywhere where I have migrate server.whatever/hydrants. And you can be like, oh crap, we just migrated everything. It's actually migrate server to .whatever. You can go take care of all that in one run all the way through. Hydrate that in, update any attribute of any item in bulk. And then one of my favorites is, and here's where our item tools look like. All of those, every one of those is a tool. 60 plus item tools right there on the screen. Easy to use, just click what you want to do, saves time, saves energy, saves frustration, anything you want to do. Here, our users and group tools. Once again, a lot of this is free. Just go to geo-jobe.com, go look at our products, hit free tools, take a look at it. Give it a try, kick the tires a little bit. 50 plus tools for managing users and groups, also easy and intuitive. So one of my favorites, this is a paid tool, is our thumbnail generator. So you go through and you design everything of how you want that thumbnail to look, even with dynamic things like the title of the item or the type of item it is, and you go and you design this layout. And then you write a query for every item you want to apply it to, and you can make your organization look great. There's so many times I've logged into an ArcGIS organization or seen someone presenting and their thumbnails are just terrible. So instead, you can go here, once again, $100 a month for all those tools you just saw, which apparently are like hundreds of tools. $100 a month, less than $1 a tool per month to be able to do it. And you can do stuff like this, making your whole organization look great. And that's not for one user. That's everyone in your organization gets to use it for that price, by the way, every administrator. So not scaling my price any crazy way like that. This one's cool because it allows you to visualize your item dependencies. So you can go through, see how everything relates to everything. This is robust. We've had this in production for about 5 years. Oh God, no, actually about 10 years now, and continue to improve on it and change how item dependencies works. You can see simple gravitational models even to make things like look nice and spread apart. You can view it so once again, your pretty thumbnails can come to the front. You can go ahead and export all of this out. You can see if something is a registered service versus if it is a hosted service. You can do all kinds of great stuff with this graph right here. That's a great way to view item dependencies. It's a great way to answer that question. But there are better ways to answer that question. We can answer that question in 3 dimensions. And here's what's awesome, is we use our 3rd dimension as time. So here's what's going on. You're able, in our 3-dimensional view of it, to, by the color of the symbology, determine what the file type is. By the size of the orb, you know the size of the item on your file system. By the distance of the orb from the center of the simulation, that's the last time it was accessed. So if you see a giant green circle far out, that's a big feature service that no one's accessing anymore. So this might seem gimmicky, but in reality, it takes the spatial concepts that we're used to and allows you to visualize your file system in that way. And so you can intuitively determine what is going on with your data. How awesome is that, right? Like, can I get a round of applause? Thank you, thank you. We have some really smart, great engineers that did that. As a matter of fact, Apple saw that. They were so impressed. They shipped us multiple Apple Vision Pros and told us that we should be partners with them, is what happened. Because their real question was, why are you using one of the Meta Quests to do this? And I was like, well, because we could actually buy those and they were affordable. So then Apple wanted us to show it off with these. There we go. Yeah, people absolutely love that one. So think about that again. That's the ability to visualize all of the relationship between your items in 2 dimensions or 3 dimensions, make your organization look beautiful with that thumbnail generator. And here's the thing, I could stand here for 2 hours and just talk about a bunch of the tools and what they could do. Or you could go look at the free tools and see what you have access to right there. No reason not to do it afterwards. You have nothing but a time investment to go and look at it. You can come by the booth and we can show you a ton more of these admin tools for ArcGIS. Let's talk about Backup My Org. Backup My Org is what really hooks people. Backup My Org is a bit of a misnomer. It can do backups, but it can also do clones and migrations. So if you have a dev, test, and production environment, you can promote your content between those environments and be able to clone all of it so that you have these like seamless abilities for promotion. That's pretty awesome. The other thing that we have is the backup and restore, which can happen on a scheduled or on-demand basis. And you can even apply queries over to those scheduled portions. So here's what that means. Maybe you back up your whole organization once a week. But then you have a really important feature layer that you have people working on in the field right now. And you're like, oh man, it'd really suck if something happened to that. So what do? You make that backup every single night. So you can say, back up my whole org nightly, back up these features, or my whole organization weekly, back up these features nightly, and then back up these other features like every 3 days. Write your queries however you want to be able to do that. It'll respect it, it'll take care of it. It can back up items, users, and groups. You also can, let's say you had an entire organizational backup from last week and someone messed up one feature layer. You can surgically restore just that feature layer. You don't have to roll back the whole server. That's been impressive. That's been a lifesaver for a lot of clients. They've said that's worth the price of entry right there. Once again, if you're a smaller organization, a connector to cover your entire environment, $100 a month is what it is. Billed annually at $1,200 is how we do that. So $1,200 to protect all of your data. That is an insurance policy worth paying. Now, I will tell you on our pricing, if you're a very large corporation, which means you make more than $100 million or more in gross revenue, does anyone here work for someone who it's $100 million or more in gross revenue? Oh, I'm sorry. You have to buy our site license, which is $10,000 to cover your entire organization, completely unlimited connectors, and you get enhanced support, and you get 10% off our professional services, and you get all kinds of other great premium tickets where you go directly to developers. But we have found organizations of that size have very complex, painful IT departments that we have to work with. So we make sure it's worth the price of entry, that we can give you the support that you want whenever you're working with your IT department. And usually we go through your whole security review with you. So the site license price, make sure we take care of all that with you. Backup My Org, recent success. We did a 60-day migration for a $50 billion a year plus consultancy. We did that. It was completed, it says this week, this is an old slide, so it was completed towards Q4 of last year. We did that with 98.7% of the content migrated. 1.1% of the content turned out to be dead content. They were like, we want to move everything. And I was like, you don't want to move everything. There's some layers there no one is using, no one has touched in 5-6 years. As it turns out, 1.1% of their content was so corrupted it could not be moved, and no one had accessed it within the last 5 years, so that's just dead content. Of that, 0.2%, we had a 0.2% functional failure rate. Only 1% of the content had to be manually moved by our professional services department, which was approximately 100 items out of 10,000 items. So that is definitely a time saver and a force multiplier. If you are migrating between environments, if you have any reason you need to, if you have to deliver for customers where you built in one place, you have to deliver to the other. If you are in a situation where you have to do this promotion between dev, test, and prod that I'm talking about, this is a huge time saver. And you might say this to me, and here's what I hear sometimes. Well, I could do that with some Python scripts. That's great. You don't have tech support on your Python scripts. That's great. Whenever we service 12,000 organizations globally, when something goes squirrely, your Python script, you're going to be figuring that out. We're going to figure out quick something went wrong. We're going to fix it. Like perhaps maybe something changed in Experience Builder the last go around with the JSON files, and no one talked about that in any of the documentation. And we had to suddenly patch that maybe last week, right? So, but we take care of that. That's the joy of having a supported product. Once again, why are you writing a Python script when for $100 a month, you already have a supported great product out there that can do it for you? And if you want to be obstinate and you want to do it, I can't stop you from doing it. But at the same time, I'm like, why are you making your own road when there's a road right here? I don't get it. But that is life, that is us, that is what we do as humans. Once again, really great percentage rate of being able to move everything over. Fellow Esri business partners use this for deployments. We have 24 other Esri business partners that leverage GEO Jobe for migration. We have full EU compliance and international distributors. If any of you are international, keep in mind, once again, GEO Jobe is 48% international, so we have a lot there. Thousands of clients every single day are using these products. Clients in every industry, clients of all sizes, small, medium, large, and huge, are all using GEO Jobe products, and they are supported. What that means is if you go to move a story map, it's going to find all of the web maps that hydrate into it. It's going to find all of the layers that hydrate into all of those web maps, and then it's going to start from the bottom and move them, and it will try to preserve all of the item IDs as part of that. It even has a peek ahead step where it's going to determine, if you said, I want to move the story map, we visualize all of it for you. I'm going to show you on the next slide. And it will highlight in red feature services that already have problems that might not move, that might be having response issues inside of the story map right then. So you can peek ahead and know what's going on. Keep in mind, it's a whole tool belt. Like all of our stuff works together. So if you have Clean My Org, we recommend that you run Clean My Org first on some of your stuff before cloning it. We'll talk about how all that works. We have a strong and robust support team on this and a strong knowledge base. We even have an entire migration playbook on how to handle large migrations using this product. So here we have a video that's not loading. Oh, no, I don't have to. Look at this, this is great. So you can see we have in red here a few items that on our peek ahead step let us know that that's going to be problematic. We can also tell you the estimated size of the backup, how many items, users, and groups are part of the backup, if they're registered services, and you can select to add or remove items, users, or groups from your backup by this peek ahead step. So you might say, hey, I want to back up these 3 story maps. Okay, there's like 150 connected items to those 3 story maps, right? So we'll give you that peek ahead capability so you know you're not biting off more than you want to chew on that particular ability to back something up, and we will let you know if something is broken as part of it. And change the backup in any way you want. You go, you know what, actually, let's not back up that one item because, yeah, that was bigger than I thought. There we go. Backup.org key points: efficient migrations, global adoption, used daily, backup and surgical restore, scheduled or on demand, powerful, informative UI. Once again, if you're using Python scripts, you're not going to get a beautiful UI like we have. What CleanMyOrg does is allows you to, has over 100 plus scheduled and on-demand scans. It passively monitors your entire organization, and it delivers reports to you of anything that violates the rules or ontology of your organization that you want, or anything that's broken or anything that's messed up. Let's say that you have some very sensitive data you want to make sure never gets shared publicly. Man, it would be great if that was an option to set that in the UI of ArcGIS Online, but it's not. So I make money selling a product that lets you know if anyone ever shares it publicly. That's pretty awesome. It can tell you, for instance, sometimes you want to know if someone created something new in production because that violates your rules, right? Like, oh no, you needed to create that in a lower environment and promote it up. So we can give you a report. Maybe you want it to check that daily. Maybe you want to check that hourly. Maybe you want to check that every 30 minutes. We don't care. You set it up. It runs on your system. So it goes through and figures out, and it works with webhooks as part of it also. So we be very efficient the way we look for this. So you could be like, let me know the moment someone created something new. We also support the ability that inside of all these items we make complex rules. So one of the ones I super like is you can use regular expression to make it so that you can check if anyone shared public anything with a social security number in it. So anything with 3 digits, a dash, 2 digits, and then a dash, and 4 digits, the moment anything that is shared publicly that way, you can get an email. That's pretty useful. So for IT compliance, SOC 2, for instance, if you're doing anything that's FedRAMP compliant, SOC 2, any of that stuff, this is super, super useful. You can go and make it so that you have rules. Anytime someone tags something test, who here has tagged something test in their life? Oh, don't lie, come on, every hand should be up right now, right? So, but we don't want that in production, okay? So we know that we can go and make those rules because all of us make mistakes, and preferably we figure out about those so we can go work on them, right? So CleanMyOrg is truly an unsung hero. This is all of the things that it can scan for. There are so many things there. And we always recommend doing a scan before doing a migration because you'll find all those broken and dead items ahead of time. You know, users who haven't logged in a while, that will really help you in your discussions on your EAs, also with Esri, so you have a good true up of how many active users you really have. If you're going through and you're pruning all the users that haven't logged in 60 days or so, then that's going to give you a good true up on that. That'll save you money, save you time, and make for a clean negotiation for everybody. So I do recommend doing that on a regular basis. Symphony for ArcGIS. 200 plus chainable actions. 200 plus chainable actions. You get to be able to drag and drop it and make it do whatever you want. So all those beautiful functionalities I just showed you in all the other products, the majority of them can be done, scheduled, and put together just like Model Builder. Here's what's beautiful. It also has what's called satellites. It puts satellites on smaller systems. So on your data stores, let's say you have a spatial temporal data store, you have an overall regular data store, you have an ArcGIS server, we can put satellites on those to be able to monitor what's going on that will report back to the core product. So we can do incredibly complex monitoring, and we can write things that you normally can't access in the API, which means we can solve problems that other people cannot solve just using the REST API. Symphony's interactive builder, it's beautiful, drag and drop whatever you want, build it, and our satellites allow us to collect information that normally would not be collected. Once again, all this information stays in your system. GEO Jobe in no way monitors it. It does not phone home. There are no telemetrics that happen with it. It just allows us to be able to, the only thing it does is it allows us to be able to empower you to make better reports and have better control over your own data. Manage my attachments. This is what's called a dependent app. It works under Symphony. You have to have Symphony to get Manage My Attachments. What does it do? Lossless compression, like we were just talking about. Now, why does lossless compression matter? It's not just about saving size, everyone. It's not just about storage on disk. It's about read and write and access speed. Because the more that data store gets gunked up, the slower you're going to be in read and write and access. So this makes all of your hosted feature layers move faster whenever you don't have your attachments gunking it up. This here, we recently had a success story with an extremely large AEC. We're talking 2 billion plus in revenue, 10,000 plus employees, most of them hammering against ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise in some way. They were experiencing data store issues with ArcGIS Enterprise, and also our backups from backup my org, they were coming to us saying our product was broken, that we weren't backing up their environment. So I was like, all right, let's go dig into that a little deeper. And then we figured out that they had an 800 gig data store where 600 gigs of it were feature attachments. And I was like, okay, I understand why our backup's having a problem there. They're like, yeah, we kick it off on a Friday, it runs all weekend, it's not done by Monday. And I'm like, well, I have questions now. So what we did is we went through and we created Manage My Attachments originally to help that particular client. And what we did is we got their data store down, and we found out that, this says here that it was only 100 gigs of spatial data and 700 gigs of attachments. We brought that all the way down so that through lossless compression to only 100 gigs for the whole data store. That was it. Lossless compression. As a matter of fact, some of the images looked crisper and cleaner because of what was run on them, because they got slightly enhanced. And we were able to export out the original images, so they still had those as well. And we created an entire slider where you could determine and preview ahead what you want the image to look like. Once again, talk pricing on this. $100 per month per connector. A connector covers one of your environments for one of our products. If you only have one ArcGIS Enterprise and that's all you got, then you know what? $1,200 for one of our products. If you're one of those large companies, in order to make the price tag not sound like $10,000 a year, $833 per month, right? So, but once again, you get unlimited access to that product for all of your environments. You get enhanced support. You get tickets that go directly to our developers. Other Esri business partners have partner pricing with us. They work with us. If you're with the government, we have GSA pricing, and we have not-for-profit pricing. So if you're at the university or in NGO in some way, we do have discounted pricing for that. Kollider 360, product that is desperately needed in this world. All right, so we all have a lot of disparate data. It's in different systems. I'm going to tell you something. GEO Jobe, once again, serves 12,000 organizations globally. There's only 50 of us, and we're from Mississippi, so we're not that fast, okay? So we have to be real slick in what we do and efficient with it. And part of how we do that is Kollider 360. It takes all of our systems of record, our CRMs, our accounting, our ticketing systems, any publicly available information, any trained AI, anything that exists on anything. And we're able to bring all of our stuff into one centralized data lake that we're able to maintain. We ingest everything, we transform it, and then we can digest it back out. We use multiple Parquet indexing solutions here. So what we'll do is we ingest everything into the manifold here, and then we convert it to Parquet with the transformation. We do joins and analysis at that point. And we were using this internally because we had real problems that needed real solutions. And then we started selling it to customers because people started seeing our sales staff use it in meetings. Corey, the director of sales back there, public screen shares showing our information accidentally. It was the best sales tactic possible though. Because they're like, how did you get all that information about us so quickly? If someone's working in support, and once again, 12,000 accounts globally, there's no way that support person can remember like everything about you is what's going on. So the moment we type in that name, and it works directly inside of Microsoft Teams or Slack, you just type in what's going on and it comes from all the disparate systems and pulls all of it together. It takes Microsoft Teams more time to render it than it does us to look up the data because of the Parquet method that we're using. If you don't know about Parquet, you don't have a math degree, I'm sorry. But if you know about Parquet and you have a math degree, you'll understand what it means to have a logarithmic big O, and you'll understand that the more you throw at it, the faster it goes. And so it's an insane data structure, and it uses really great back-end methodologies with indexed red-black trees. And what we do, though, as part of the transformation, is we're not just dumbly taking this stuff and throwing it into Parquet. We take it, we bring it in, and then we Parquet it multiple times, and then we do tests against it to make it run as fast as possible. So if anyone has a bunch of big data concerns, come talk to GEO Jobe. We have some really creative solutions because we're really creative people. As a matter of fact, half the people who work at GEO Jobe do not have degrees. Yes, that means that we do not know what the limitations are. We're just crazy like that. Once again, I have a ton of degrees. Half my staff don't. Half my staff do. I have PhDs. We're a very interesting crowd. Like we have like multiple PhDs that work at GEO Jobe and multiple people that were blackjack dealers or cocktail waitresses or security guards before starting at GEO Jobe. So we believe in a diversified perspective to come up with a better answer, and that's what we like to do. So admin, backup, clean, Symphony, Kollider 360. That's some of the wonderful ones that we have going on right now. what a clean migration looks like, we say that everything works together. So admin tools. Remember we were talking about that beautiful view item dependencies? Remember, it was in 2 dimensions, it was in 3 dimensions, it was in VR. You run your item dependencies first to analyze everything. You clean it up with Clean My Org and Symphony, using Symphony to compress a lot of those attachments with lossless compressions. And then you migrate the items, users, and groups using Backup My Org. So everything works together in an ecosystem. GEO Jobe's offerings, we have products, we have professional services, we have partnered apps, and we do sell 24/7 US-based tech support. Not just for our products, but for your systems. So if your ArcGIS system or any one of your IT systems needs onshore tech support that is US-based 100%, we provide that out of Mississippi because, well, Mississippi is a very affordable place to live. So examples of partnered apps, we work with Bear and Weather, Aerial Sphere, Contera, Seer AI, GeoMarvel. So we work with a lot of them. We do a lot of webinars, a lot of stuff with those people. The other way that GEO Jobe is so efficient is we do a lot of harness work with AI harness work. Does anyone here use Hermes Agent or OpenClaw? Anyone? Hermes Agent, OpenClaw? All right, that stuff is changing the world. Love Hermes Agent, love OpenClaw. If anyone ever hears those words come out of like a tech person's mouth in their organization in the next year, you can go, I know some people who do that. So if someone gets really curious about Hermes Agent or OpenClaw, Hermes Agent or OpenClaw, you are able to say, hey, I know some people who actually implement and do system integration work for that. So please keep that in mind. If you ever hear those words, come to GEO Jobe. Don't be scared, we'll help. So what are the key takeaways? These are useful to clients. They're great for faster migration. It creates a cleaner renewal of your EA because you can keep your organization clean on the amount of users you have. Client workload decreases, which increases adoption inside of your organization. If you're not busy administrating everything, you can talk to more people about why GIS is awesome, and that gets to expand, hopefully, the amount of funding you get, so it becomes a self-fulfilling cycle. Force multiplier, better IT compliance. I don't know, sometimes IT and GIS, they're best friends. The best of friends. So this allows for better IT compliance where you could say, hey, IT, I am checking the box on access control, these types of things. It's more than scripts. Scripts aren't going to give you a clean UI. They're not going to give you a great UX. They don't have a robust support team behind them. They're not backed by continuous patches and improvements by an extensive development team. GEO Jobe's a trusted and aligned partner. We've been in business over 25 years, over 12,000 customers globally. These tools are available today, right now. You could go grab a license at our booth and have this up and running in 30 minutes. So please be aware of that. Anything you've seen, this is just the tip of it. Come over by the booth, get some demos, talk to some people. I know that AI is being talked about here. I prefer not to talk about our AI work most of the time because it's not in the geospatial field. We've developed our own MCPs. Does people know what MCPs are? MCPs, anyone? Anyone? Great. All the tools that you saw have their own MCP, which means your agents can interact with it. That means you can do semantic interactions with every one of our tools, which is awesome. We also do full offline model work. Anytime someone needs an implementation of Quinn, GLM, Minimax, Gemma, any of those stuff, we can take care of that for you. We do that for super secure clients and people who really want to keep their stuff very private, never touch a frontier model. We do AI harness work that goes back to OpenClaw and Hermes, where we can do 24/7 problem solving, proactive workers, monitor and respond to critical responses, and it manages my whole inbox because I have 12,000 clients globally, and if I had to manage my inbox, I would just be doing that all day. You can reach out to connect at GEO Jobe. You can say, hey, I heard your crazy CEO talking at a conference, and I want to know more about your products. This was an overall elevator pitch. As I said, our products are incredibly robust, incredibly deep. Please come by the booth. I'm now open to Q&A or karaoke, whichever one works out. So does anyone have a question? Otherwise, Rocket Man by Elton John will be starting. I am from Mississippi, so I'm insulted by that Alabama choice, which is a Florida band pretending to be from